Okay, thanks for joining this session. It's the last session of today. And according to Gordon, the buses, you should start preparing yourself for 4:30, which is in 15 minutes. Don't worry, I would like to have fun as well, and I would like to be on the bus as well, so we will make it. So thanks that today I talk about serialization, the track and trace. It has been discussed as well over the main stage. I'm here as well together with Mauricio. And what we would like to do is to give you an insight from what serialization is really about. I'm not going to explain this, you already know it. So with regards to serialization, it's about inventory management. So who has inventory? Of course, everybody. Who deals with packaging? So they deal with pallets, with boxes, cases, and so forth. So you all normally should be dealing with this, and there might be as well reasons why to optimize your inventory management. And dealing with this, let me see. So on one hand, when we talk about logistic unit serialization, it talk about containers, pallets, license plating, serialized shipping container codes, or the SSCC numbers, or the people in the GS1 that are dealing with serialized global trade item numbers and so forth. So you have all sorts of ways to pronounce or to use wordings, or at the end to explain the same areas. So doing inventory management at the moment, the QAD, it's really about the item, the lot, and the quantity. But now there's a lot of requirements over there to get to the next level of granularity. On one hand, really to be able to manage your containers or your pallets and cases. But on the other hand as well, get to the granularity of really getting to your units and get those serialized. Certain industries, like in the automotive, the critical parts, they are already used to see serialization. Or look at this computer, there's a serial number on it, and the components of the computer has as well serial numbers on it. But you see as well a trend to other industries where we see this taking up. So with regards to this is the context where I wanted to go through. So what is the agenda? First of all, I wanted to give you the reasons why you see more industries and more regions going towards a higher level of granularity in track and trace your inventory, and give an overview, short overview of the solution, so that I can show you how we QAD will support you for this. And then as well, I would like as well to know that Mauricio will give as well a use case and how it has been implemented in a pharmaceutical environment where they need to deal with legal requirements. So let me give quickly an update on the business challenges. And one of the key reasons is related with counterfeit. Falsification, theft, or illegal usage of products in different markets, or any sort of counterfeit is really a plague in many industries. In the pharma industry, they talk about 7% of the products are counterfeited products in the legal supply chain. So these are big numbers. As well in other industries, we see similar numbers. The other thing as well, due to all those issues, you see as well that there are more and more industries go for more and more demanding compliance requirements. So in the pharmaceutical industry, we have been talking about the California e-Pedigree for a long time. In the medical devices, the FDA as well has rules on the unique device identifiers, or the UDIs. In other industries or even in other regions, they are as well quite demanding. Like in our use case, the Chinese government is already ahead of the curve for FDA, and they really expect serialization of the unit level for any products that comes in. But it's not just about compliancy, it's as well about the effective enterprise. Making your material handlers more efficient to do their transactions in the system, what they effectively do of all those material handling, and ensure that you have more real-time information about your inventory and by this as well ensure that inventory accuracies at a much higher level than probably currently are. Related with recalls, dealing with information with a not so high granularity will require you probably to recall much higher range of inventory, and with the granularity of serialization you'll be able to narrow down specifically what needs to be recalled based on your information on the root cause, what went wrong. And this goes as well to the product genealogy. Product genealogy is really about understanding from where certain goods went through. And so if you have a recall or any sort of reverse event, how those goods were weighed, which are the products used, which are the components, the material used, and from which supplier they have been coming from, or which machine you have been producing certain semi-finished products and so forth. And based on that as well, being able to understand the impact of any sort of non-conformance, so that you really can nail down the places where the problems are. As the people that went in the previous session, where Tony Club mentioned about the recall, having as well requests from their customers to be able to do recall events and an audit just with a time frame of 2 hours. That is really quite demanding, and with the new capabilities we're coming up with, we give you the tools to be able to do so. As well, the competitive readiness. You might be here operating in the US region, but you might as well go more global and deal with other regular requirements that might be similar or that are different in many cases. So you should have as well a kind of a flexible system that is able to handle all sorts of requirements, and not just from legal requirements, but as well like a rig from Sharp that you saw in the video. He has as well requirements from his specific customers that can be as well a bit different from each other, and you need all to be able to flexible enough to have solutions that are complying with those. So this is the framework that we're starting to build some solutions. Our solutions are really focused on both being able to compliant, but as well to find ways to improve effectiveness in inventory management. And so we brought this contradictory challenges together and really try to make really software that makes your inventory management more effective, more efficient. But on the other hand as well, you have the next level of granularity of information to be compliant with certain requirements. One question very quickly, who's from the life science, medical devices or pharmaceutical industry? Okay. Is there somebody from the automotive industry as well? So, and others that I have not mentioned, other industries like high-tech or industrial? Okay. So, I think those capabilities are for all industries that QAD is operating in. In automotive, probably you don't directly go to the item unit level, but lately with the OEMs you need as well to deliver information about the 2 level of packaging and your pallet and cases as well that goes to the OEM. It needs to be serialized and labeled according to their requirements. So as well, even for the automotive, there is a lot of good new capabilities and how those to integrate it with your operationals, like a production, receiving from inbound receiving to shipment of goods to the customer. So first of all, the solution is based on managing inventory, serialized inventory or packaged inventory, and this based in the 4 walls, from receiving goods, inspection, rechecking, put it on the warehouse, you do your production, you might need to have some integration with MES systems, and from there you ship the goods or you transfer the goods to some storage areas, and then you dispatch it to the customer. So with all these serialization, especially like in the pharmaceutical industry where the item unit serialization starts, is over here. But a lot of transactions can occur as well after production or offline. So you might need to open or split the pallet. You might need to take boxes out and put it on another pallet. Another sort of transaction that need to happen. But still, you need to fully be able to track and trace all those transactions and be sure that you deliver the right products to the customer. So who is dealing with this in your organization? You have the material handlers, the guys that receive the goods either from production and move the goods around, prepare shipments, and do cycle counting and so forth. As well, the shop floor operator dealing with receiving the goods, packaging, end of line, and moving probably from one semi-finished production line to another production line, for instance. And so there are a lot of small transactions that all are creating the chain of the solution. And as well, the integration with production line itself. You see this where all the packages come out. With our solution, you will be able to do your backflush straight away with your packaging. So at the moment, QAD only supports receiving of inventory, your item lot quantity for production. But now as well, straight away you do packaging. You put a two-level the boxes and the cases, like in this case, the cases and the pallets, and this way you have all this information. By this, afterwards, you just need to scan the identifier of the pallet to move stock from the production line to the warehouse, or move it as well, or pick it towards the shipper. So the processes as well will become more effective, more efficient for you. So talk about the solution highlights. With regards to packaging, typically you have default packaging, so you might have 72 cases or shipper boxes on a pallet, or 24, or whatever the numbers is, and you can predefine this in the system, as well set it up by the specification of a customer or your source, the site that you're producing in, so that you really can handle this, so that you have default ways of packaging. As well, all the data that is related with this, like what sort of labels should be printed for that packaging type of that structure, and any sort of validations, like if you can combine different products together in one packaging type, and so forth. The other things about serial data. In certain industries that are quite regulated, the serial data even comes from the government. Like in the case from Mauricio, the serial data comes from the Chinese government, and you need to use those numbers. On the other hand, you might get some agreements with your customers to define your serial ID data according to certain specifications. So you have both ways to deal with system-defined serial data or import of data from customers. So now we are all awake and fresh, and it was good. So now we need to find a way to speed up and get you all in the bus afterwards. So can we close the windows? The doors, sorry, windows. There's quite some noise outside. Okay, thanks for coming back. So I talked about serialized inventory, the packaging. In fact, what I didn't mention, but unfortunately you need to talk in the past sentence, which I did a demo this at noon. For most of you, I sent an email out that I was doing a demo at 12:30. So if people want to see a demo, please leave your identification, and if there are enough people that want to see it, I might be trying to get it on the schedule tomorrow morning. And so please let me know. But I don't want to talk too much myself. I would like as well let Mauricio talk about his experience. So very quickly, with the serialized inventory, we do as well label printing services, what we call it. Is really given the capabilities to print labels from transactions, taking the data that you need, like a pallet data, and have the format of the data defined in label printing software like a Loftware, or coming straight away from a Zebra software, and have the communication protocols that the labels are printed according to your business rules. So from that customer, that pack type, that item needs to get this label format, and another get another label format. Integration communication is quite important, and Mauricio will talk about it. You have, on one hand, integration with other applications like an MES system, or you have communication with third-party or stakeholders. And the track and trace, you cannot say more enough that it's not just about the compliance as such, like being able to ship goods with a serial ID number and have the label on it, but it's really being able as well to do the audit, recalls, and everything related with it, so that you are able to help as well those customers to track where things went wrong. And it's not just only a labeling requirement, or we go much further than that. So by this, I would like to give the word to Mauricio, and he will give an update from an experience how he got serialization installed and what the requirements were, and his roadmap towards the implementation.
Thank you, Guido. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I try to speed up a little bit, and I want to only to describe what I will show in my presentation. As you can hear, I'm not English. I'm an Italian guy, but I will try to do my best with the language. So I try also to go slowly, not like a Tony. Tony is impossible to speak like you. It's really fast. So I will cover the process to arrive to have the serialization module installed in our company. First, I want to say what is my role in the company and what is the ESICA Pharmaceutical. So I'm the IT director of ESICA Pharmaceutical based in Italy. ESICA is a group, a UK group that have 6 sites in Europe, 3 in UK, 2 in Germany, and 1 in Italy, and is focused on contract manufacturing. So we normally produce a pharmaceutical product for other company, but all over the other side we are able to start from the R&D, so research and development, till the development of the molecule. We can produce bulk and package that. Pianezza side is mainly focused on packaging, and we are specialized in packaging solid form, so tablets and capsule. But we also produce oral solution like drops and syrups. And we, in this case, we produce all the part of the solution, and also we make the packaging. Sorry, I need to check on my Linux blanket all the time because to be sure that I don't forget something to say. The Pianezza site is mainly focused on some therapeutic area, such as anti-allergic, CNS or central nervous system, anti-epileptic, and we are mainly and also analgesic and antiemetic. To be able to arrive to have a serialization module installed on the site, we have to do some steps. First of all, I want to say that this site that was before to be ESICA, we were UCB, that is a multinational company based in Belgium. We started in 1993 to use MFG Pro, so it's a long time, and we managed different updates during the year. Last we did is last year to the 2013.1 version to be able to install the serialization module. So, if you are talking about capabilities we have in the site, as I mentioned before, we are able to produce, to package and release tablet and capsule. So it means that the bulk arrive from our customer, and we pack all the bulk we receive for different countries. Normally, for all therapeutic area, we are able to package and release more or less for all the country in the world. We don't produce for USA, for example, because we are not yet FDA approved as a site, but we are approved for all other countries like Japan, for example, China, Brazil, or other countries. And And same thing for other solution, but in this case we produce also the solution, and we release and pack what we produce. I mentioned before that we produce oral solution, but we have also an injectable department. Is a small department where we make also vials. To be able to understand what means also the impact of serialization part in the production, I want to say some figure about the volume that we manage in the site. We are a site that works in 3 shifts, 5 days a week, so we produce a very huge amount of product. Only to give some figure regarding the blister machine, we're producing more than 160 million blisters a year, so it's a very huge amount. For drops and oral solution, we have a capacity of 7 million bottles per year. And regarding the ampoules and vials, we have 26 million ampoules that we manage and we produce each year. Regarding sales, only to give you an idea, also from one end the complexity of the product we manage, but from the other end it's the simplicity, because we have one big customer that is UCB that own 90% of our production goes to UCB. So right now it's really simple have the relation with the customer. But in the meantime, we are going to grow to other customers like GSK or Etipharma and other that will come in the future. And serialization for our company is a strategy service, because, as you know, in a couple of I want to say months, but maybe a couple of years, most of the country will ask to have a serialization process in place, and this is really an added value for the company that produce pharmaceutical products. And this is the end of the advertising part, so we go deeply in maybe something happen? Yeah. Okay. The need to have the serialization module in place arrive from user requirement from our big customers, so UCB, to have a complete supply chain in place to track and trace all the products they are providing for some countries. ESICA is the first link of the production phase, so it means that we are in charge to give the unique serialization of each product on each level required by the customer, and we have to collect all this information and send to a central repository that is based on a customer server. And as soon as the data are on the customer server based, the customer is able to move all the goods with all the serial number in there to the other part of the supply chain, till the final user, that is in some cases the patient, in other cases the hospital or the pharmacy. So based on this user requirement, and the first country, for example, that we are going to produce is China, we try to find a solution that gives the opportunity to, from one end, to have in the production line system a system that can accept the codes, stick the code on the product, and aggregate them and send back to in this case, to QAD application. And but from another end, the system that we have in place must be able to send the information to the customer in the right situation, in the right format, in the right place. So from one end was a request arrived from the customer, but from another end, this arose from a regulatory requirement. I put here only few flags because these flags are related to our products, and China is the first that we are put in place. But in the meantime, we are working on Argentina and Korea that we must be ready by the end of this year, using the same approach and the same system. And in the coming year, also other countries like US, as I mentioned Guido before, with FDA, and Europe also will come. So it means that the solution we are now in place is something that can cover all the different requirements that will arrive from a different country. And trust me, the Chinese part is, for my opinion, is the most complex situation, because for what I know, and for the documentation I found in all regulatory website, is the only one that provides the code that must be used in the product. So it means that your system must be able to receive this code, upload and use in the right product. Now I want to describe a little bit what is the process flow, and based on the architecture we have. First, I put this picture to be sure that everybody understands that it doesn't matter what kind of system the customer has. In this case, UCB has a not QAD application, but we are able to speak without proposals to receive the code from the UCB and send back the information aggregated to the customer. We have an automatic process. We receive the master data and a serial number profile from our customer. Serial number profile in this case only for China, but for the other country we receive the specification of the form of the serial number you have to use in the product. And in the meantime, we receive also the purchase order. This is via electronic system. In the ESICA environment, automatically we create the sales order. We run MRP on weekly basis, and we provide all the work order needed to produce this product. For the serialized product, we have put in place, based on the application, we install also some checks to be sure that the number, especially for the China, the number is that need for the production is enough to start the production. So in this case, the serial number is part of the bill of material of the product, and is one of the mandatory component that is not possible to be missed before starting the production. Internally, we have an interface that is we don't use QXtend in this case, but we use a local development interface, because we have to send the information to the MAS system. The MAS system is a local one. We send this information to the MS system. The MS system take in charge all the information, make the production, package, print and check, and aggregate this information. And as soon as the information are aggregated, we send back to the system. We manage in the warehouse our product based on pallets. So it means that every time from the production a pallet is ready, we receive back the information to the system with all the aggregated information. We made a good receipt. This step that you see on the screen are completely automatic. There is no manual interaction from the user. We release. I want to open a branch about that. Also, for the release of the product, we have another QMS system that is not QAD in this case, but is interfaced on the system. and as soon as a new batch arrives in a warehouse, the message goes to the QMS system, and the QMS system at the end of the test is able to release automatically the batch. When the batch is closed and the production is ready to be shipped, first, but depends on the country, first we are able to send the serial number to the customer for the verification. I put this because for China, another complex part of this country is that before shipping the goods, they have to receive all the codes. You have to upload in a specific website that is only in Chinese, so only Chinese people can do that. And if you have a green light, you can ship. If you have not the green light, you have to translate the message you have and put in place all the corrective action and manage the issue before ship again the number. We already produced for China in the last 2 years using also a part serialization, because China started before full serialization started with only the shipping box as a test. And we already produced 2 years, you only serialize the shipping box and not using the QAD application because it was not there at the time. So we have a local implemented module in QAD. And so we produce, I want to say, million of product at the time, and we never have a bad result when we ship the serial number. And we are comfortable that also with this new model we will not have the issue. When we receive the feedback from the customer that everything is correct, we are ready to ship all the goods. And for the people that already attend to the demo of Guido, all the parts related to the work order or related to the shipment have, with the serialization model, have no impact. So it means that you manage your work order, receipt, or your shipment in the same way you manage today, and with the same performance you manage today. A quick overview regarding the project, because we did the project in a very quick time, because to be able to install the serial model, first we need to upgrade to the latest version that was the 2013.E in Enterprise Edition. We arrived from a 2008 Standard Edition, so the majority of the problem or the challenge we have is with the finance part, because the finance guy, for the finance guy, everything changed from the Standard Edition to the Enterprise. But we are able to also to show them that with the new version of the Enterprise Edition, especially the finance is more complex from a point of view, but is also more complete from another point of view. No issue for the other part. We have also part of the customization that we are able to move in the new version as well, and some we lose because we discovered that part of the customization are already in place in the new version. We start in October with the URS from the customer. In November we are of the environment ready, test acceptance and to made a custom analysis and migration and so on. In December, we made the first migration test. Only really interesting thing is that we start to think about the serialization model with the 2012 version, because at that time the serialization model was available only for the 2012. In December, I received a mail from Karien saying that now the model is ready also for the latest version. So what to do? So we are in December. We have to go live by 7th of January, so it's really short time. But at the end, we decide, okay, with the analysis or the customization already done, most of the job is already done, so we decide to install in test and acceptance the new version and go ahead with the latest one. So it means that in less than 1 month, we are able to migrate from 2008 to the 2013 version. And I want to say also thank you to the consultant that we have in Italy, because are really, really nice and keen person for that. And we go live in January without the serialization module. After that, we start a new project only for the serialization module, starting from January, and we go on these different months, hide with all the tests, all the validation stuff, and so on. Arrive mid of April with the go live for the serialization module, and we start the first production last week with the Chinese, with the first batch of the Chinese product, complete serialized by the system. As a last slide, I want only to share with you what we learned during this project. That's true. I already mentioned before, short time is possible. Sometimes it seems incredible, but if you are already in a QAD environment, obviously it's more simple. But if you have a lot of customization, sometimes it's not really simple as well. But we move in a latest version in a really quickest time. Business but driver project, I say that because also Tony was fun, because sometimes I find some relation between the company, Vitatech or ESICA or other company. It seems that the project, the software project must be driven by IT people, IT guy, and not by the business. In this case, I want to say that we are able to push the business to take in charge of the project, because this arrives from something that is regulatory. It's not something that, oh, we have an upgrade, we have to change because otherwise the maintenance is no more available, something like that. So it's really IT problem. In this case, was really a use case or a user requirements. In this case, I want to say that the project goes smoothly because the business was involved from the beginning. One repository for the serial number, because at the beginning, the most challenging part was to convince the business that we have to put the serial number somewhere in a unique place where you can track and trace everything. Not to have some data in your ERP system, serial number in another system, and so on. Because I know there are serial model that you can use only in your MIS system, and you have all the information. But if you want to go downstream or upstream on your information, is really painful. So you have to use 2 systems or more sometimes. In this case, we have one repository with all transactions related to the product. In the meantime, also all the information regarding the serial number. And I want to say that this part is something that is really was accepted from the business, but also from the customer, because the customer is comfortable by the way that the information are available also for them. If we have some complaint or we have a recall to do, we are able in a shot to give all the information regarding what's happened to this batch. Win-win strategy. I forget to say something before. Obviously, our customer was a partner on the project, not only from a technical aspect, but also from money point of view. So win-win strategy means that everybody wins in this situation. The customer, because arrived to the point, to the target, he needs a solution to have quickly all the information needed to be able to be sure that the market is still open, and also for us, because now we have a system that we can also propose to other customers. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.